Hello there. We were going to put out this episode, but I wanted to record something before it comes out because we're always a little silly, and I don't feel so silly today, nor did I feel very silly yesterday when I heard the news of Sinead O'Connor's passing. I'm going to keep it together while I record this audio, but I will say that she was my universal mother. She was my beacon. She was my north. She was my south. She was my east. She was my west. And she'll be very missed. And I find the best way to celebrate people in this circumstance is to listen to music and to remember them and to laugh when things are hard. And I hope that she has found peace. And as I posted on a personal page of mine yesterday, because I hope that she has found peace because she has always been mine and always a companion to my musical life. And luckily that gets to still be a thing. And I hope that you will enjoy listening to it and remembering her. And if you just want to listen to music, there's also a mix that's in the link. And if you do anything, listen to some of her music and enjoy it. And I'm going to try not to be too heavy. And I'm not heavy in this episode because I didn't know this yet, of course. So I just want to make two corrections. When I did this episode, I hadn't read her biography yet, and I didn't know that the song Troy was about the abuse she suffered from her mother. I always took it as different imagery when I was a kid because I didn't know that. So there's that correction, and that's pretty much the main one I want to make. And if you don't want to hear us just being silly at the beginning, you can fast forward until we start really talking to Sinead, which I think is about 5-7 minutes in. But yeah, take care and remember Sinead.
Podcast speeding.
On a cold dark night, telling me he'd be home. Sail the seas for 100 years, leaving me all alone. And I've been dead for 20 years. I've been awash in the sun with my ghostly tears, searching the shores for my Jackie.
Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Brian.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm back over here.
The tables have turned themselves back to where they were before.
Yes.
You're on the right side of
I don't know.
the microphone.
We'll see. I mean, one of these times we can do a vote. We'll just have to change the whole podcast.
No votes. No votes.
I think we should do it occasionally, though.
Sure. It's fun.
But what is this, first of all, just in case no one knows what this is?
This, ladies and gentlemen, is the podcast. I already told you that.
I did.
You may have.
I think
this one.
This one, yeah, I definitely have.
You very may have. And I may have remembered some of it.
I think you may have remembered some of it, but we're still going to go over it again.
I'm over here ripping in half my picture.
No, let's not. First of all, what is this podcast about? What do we do? It's just in case this one's our first time.
Good question. So this is a podcast about music and the music we listen to and the influences that others have had on us. Your influence on me, I think others' influence on you, how we got to learn about music. And then just and
specifically that you don't remember a lot of the music that's been played for you in the past. So we're going to already told you again.
Right. So you already told me. That's right. So each week we bring in a new band, and you've already told me about this band at some point in our
most definitely
in our relationship. And I then proceeded to completely forget about you ever telling me about that.
Yes.
And so this is our opportunity to relearn.
And then it helps you remember, which is amazing. Right. And then we're going to play some music from this artist or the artist whenever we do this. And there's always a playlist that goes along with it.
Yeah, so it's almost like an education podcast too, really.
Yeah, I don't know. But it helps you remember again. So,
it does.
Which is really cool. Wow, dog. I don't usually hear
dogs going
madness.
off outside.
So how was it for you last week? Was that weird? So if anyone hasn't heard, last week Brian was the person showing me something.
That's right.
He did Soul Asylum, which was not a band I really listened to.
That's right.
I was aware of, but I didn't really listen to. So it was kind of a great kind of changed pace. I was very relaxed. It was fun. How did you feel about it?
I'm just going to make the snide remark that, and you will continue to not listen to.
No, I mean, I don't hear you digging deep into the Rose Painters after that episode, but yeah, I understand. Yeah.
No, I know. I got to go back and listen to the playlist.
And that brings me to something, Brian. I want you to tell me how the podcast made you feel, though.
Yeah.
First do that, and then I'll...
Oh, okay. It's a bit of a hot seat, Melissa, because you feel the responsibility of providing information, and you've built yourself up in your head in terms of like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and do that. And so you feel the sort of, it's like leading a meeting or something like that. You have to be the one that's always on agenda.
Ooh,
right?
I don't like that.
All right. And then the other thing is like, I now realize like when I'm over here making my wisecracks that,
they're not wanted.
They don't...
No, what?
They're not wanted, and
Just kidding.
Not necessarily not wanted, but they don't always land, because when you're in that seat over there, you're so like you're in the zone, you're concentrating, you're trying to give information, and then someone's wisecracking you. If you're not wise to the wisecracks.
Because you're just too busy. Like the first few times I did this, I was so busy. And I told you the one time when we did The Cure and I got really like serious and I was like, wait, you can't make jokes now. And I was like, wait a second, you can. I have to calm down. Yeah, right. It can be hard. But I was going to say, there was something you said that reminded me of this, and I want to make the connection to what you were saying.
Okay.
Oh, we were just talking about, bands that maybe I introduced you to and even reintroduced you to, and you might still not like them.
True.
Or like you might introduce Soul Asylum to me, and I might not like all of it or even like it, but I find it interesting. And I guess what happened recently is I was talking to some people about our podcast.
Yeah.
And I appreciate feedback. And some of them were telling me that they like it, but they don't listen to the episodes where it's a band they're not into, or some people with bands they don't know what they are. They don't listen to, which especially surprises me, because it's I understand not even listening to our podcast. That makes sense to me. But if you already like the podcast, I think it's weird to skip bands that you think that you don't like, which is fine. Like, you don't like them. I get that.
Yeah.
But like Soul Asylum, I've never heard that many of their songs. So like, it was nice for you to do that. Even though like, I don't like the majority of it, there was a couple that I did like. And also, as I've told you, I guess I'm a different animal in a way, because like, I will watch a podcast. I will watch a music documentary on any motherfucking band.
Yeah.
Like any band. It could be Styx. I'll watch it.
You like Styx.
Striper. Watching it. I don't care. I don't really like Styx.
How about like Korn?
That might be hard. You're right. But I might watch it just because of how ridiculous it is.
Sure. Actually, I would love to watch it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I've seen every behind the music there is. Mm-hmm. And they're horrible. And it's always the same drama. But like, I just like stories about music and just hearing about it. And also like...
How about like Celine Dion?
I've watched it.
Okay.
I've seen her behind the music. I don't like it still. My heart does not go on for it. But, like, I'll watch it. Like, I can't help it. Like, it's just a... And I guess I could just get weird when that happens, because I'm just like... Also... I will admit, of the bands I don't like, I shut down pretty quickly on not liking them. So as much like these other people who I'm mentioning, so they probably didn't hear a whole bunch of it, So like, I always think there may be worth another listen.
So people out there, the message to you is...
Oh, I did think of something.
Give it a try.
There was one documentary I didn't finish, and it was the Grateful Dead one I was trying to watch. And it wasn't just about the Grateful Dead. It was specifically about somebody in the Grateful Dead. I can't remember which one.
Oh, that's right. Bob Weir, I think.
I couldn't watch it.
Yeah, couldn't get through it.
I'm not a jam band fan anyway.
Fish? Yeah, what about Fish?
Not a fan.
String cheese
but still,
incident?
like, normally, I could watch a documentary. I was like, they've got to be very interesting. There's things that there's people following. 5
of our fans.
Yeah.
See you guys later.
No, it's fine. We can agree to disagree. Is my point. My point is that like, still a curiosity.
We love you, jam
a
band
curiosity.
fans.
That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely. Just like the curiosity that's no longer operating on Mars, right? Just replaced by...
Did you just NASA segue?
I just pivoted there hard.
Did you just rove into that?
Just
that
this
really
moment
weird.
in history. New Mars rover on the surface. Taking
Something
over
exciting.
for Curiosity. Perseverance.
We lost our curiosity.
I can't even think of the name of it now.
What's the new name? What did we gain
nudnik.
when we lost Curiosity? Curiosity died, right?
It's still up there. Yeah, I think it may have. Like, it has the potential. Maybe the other one will go and rescue it.
Maybe this one's called Potential.
Yes.
You don't know the name of the new rover.
It's called.
Talk about embarrassing.
Yeah, right. No, it's called Gorilla Car Wash. It's going to go wash the other one off so that it can.
You don't know
its
name.
Perseverance.
It's called Perseverance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's going to persevere and find life on Mars. I love this. Somebody posted a thing. It was from Hitchhiker's Guide, I think. And it's all the Martians standing on Mars with a sign that says, "Fuck off, go home."
Where did you see this?
It was on Facebook.
Oh.
Amazing.
News.
It's good stuff.
Oh.
I got a funny little thing that happened this week, Melissa.
What happened?
Can I relay this story?
You haven't told me this?
No, I have told you this. You'll remember.
Okay, good. So you've already told me this.
I've already told you this, and I'm going to tell you again.
Okay, good.
Just as a little remembrance, because I was kind of silently chuckling to myself this morning about it. Last Monday was my birthday, as you mentioned last time. You were there. It was fun. We had a nice, lovely, beautiful day. Thank you so much. That was fun. And then the next day, I was at work.
I do remember this already.
And my beautiful, lovely workmates who are around me in the hallway are very sweet people. And I had a busy day. I've been having some busy days. And as everyone is, they're on Zoom and video calls and stuff like that.
You were in person at work.
I'm in person at work, but I have my own little office and I can close the door. And so when
I just want them to know this didn't happen in a Zoom way.
That's right. This was not a Zoom. This was face to face. So me and all my office mates were in our own little offices. We close our little doors and we put signs on our doors because we're all in meetings all the time online.
Exciting.
So anyway, yeah. It's great. No, I'm very, very happy to be employed during this time. I know there's a lot of people out there struggling through the old pandemic. Anyway, so I was in meetings all day and I finally got a break. So I do my usual morning routine, which is right about when I get finished with the old coffee, Mother Nature kicks in and says it's time.
Knock, knock, knocking on your door.
That's right. Knocking on my door. The pressure is built, and so I'm doing my thing. And the bathroom is right next door to my office, and the doors are possibly thin, and I hear all this scuffling and gathering door, and then I hear, "Happy birthday to you." Wait a minute, he's not in there. So all of my office mates had gathered together to sing me happy birthday very sweetly, but I was not in my office.
You were.
I was on the toilet.
Yeah.
So so they were like, they realized where I was. I didn't say anything.
You didn't yell at them? I thought you said you yelled at them. That was your story to me.
I should have. I was.
They just realized where you were.
They realized immediately. They know. So I think they just turned towards the bathroom and sang happy birthday in there.
To the bathroom door.
To the bathroom door. It was
And the great thing is you told me that story and I was like, but you didn't even come right out after that. You were still in there for a while before you came out. They'd all gone back to their offices.
Hours had gone by.
They're like,
well, I had a crossword to finish.
oh my gosh. This is going to be a great segue.
Best birthday ever.
Yes,
Thank you,
yes.
office mates. Yeah, so that was good.
Yeah.
So anyway, Sinead.
So you did recognize who that was. Who was that, Brian?
That's Sinead O'Connor.
So I'm going to say something right off the bat.
Okay.
We're going to get right to brass tacks.
You cut right to it.
I'm going to cut right to it. On this podcast, we sometimes are funny.
Yeah, sometimes.
But there's something, we can joke about all aspects, but I don't want to make jokes about Sinead. I'm going to say that right now.
We're gonna dial it back.
I'm going to be really serious.
And
I'll tell you why. I'm going to say why.
Okay.
I think, for me, Sinead O'Connor, we'll get into it right now.
We'll get into it.
We're going to get right into it.
Let's get into it.
Sinead O'Connor. What Sinead O'Connor is to me, and probably to a lot of people. When it was 1988, and I hear my mother from the other room. It's kind of nighttime, and she yells, "There's some weird bald girl on the TV." And I came in, and it was Sinead O'Connor, and she was doing her first U.S. I didn't know this at the time. I looked it up now, and I realized what it was. It was the first time she had ever performed on live television in the U.S., and she was on David Letterman.
Oh. Okay.
And she was singing Mendika.
Okay.
And I was like, and she had a Public Enemy symbol on the side of her head.
Tattooed?
No, it was drawn.
Okay.
And I was like,
did it say Public Enemy?
No, I mean, it was the symbol, like
the crosshairs, a person being,
yeah. And I was just like, what? Oh my gosh. And so...
so wait a second. Your mother had the presence of mind to call you in the room when something weird was happening on television.
I liked weird things.
So she knew this about you.
Yeah, I was already into The Cure and all that kind of stuff, so she kind of knew that I was.
But I mean, you got to give her a little cred there.
There's some weird bald girl in that too, but yeah, I'll give her the credit.
But I mean, it could have been a weird bald girl doing magic tricks.
But she was doing a magic trick because she was singing Mendika.
Okay.
And if you haven't heard that song, it's on this mix, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to play it too. But
So what you're telling me is, sorry, I don't mean to keep interrupting you. I can't do any of my very good interpretations of Sinead
much
singing.
like comedy, which my husband and I really love comedy. And as I've been saying to you, people can make jokes.
Yeah.
They just got to be smarter about it.
Okay.
You know
they got to
saying?
be funny. That
I
helps.
don't think jokes about... But we're going to get into it more.
Okay, we're going to get into it. Let's get into it.
Like I said, this is what I want to say is, I think people sometimes focus a little too much about people personally.
Okay.
And not enough about them as far as their talent. And I think with someone like her, unfortunately, that has happened. And people are paying attention. Like right now, they have that Britney Spears thing they're talking about in New York Times. They just did this short documentary about her, that whole free Britney Spears movement.
Will you watch it?
I already did.
Oh, did you already did that?
Done. Been done, did that. And, and whether or not you're a fan of that type of music, which I'm not, but it does point out, the inequities that happen, especially with women in music, and especially women who are having a hard time.
Yeah.
And having that amount of scope and attention put on you is something I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy.
No.
And I think that, as we've also talked about, John Ronson has this great book called So You've Been Publicly Shamed, and I highly recommend it to anyone who doesn't sympathize or understand that sort of situation. Read that and then get back to me on it. Because I think that's the best thing I've read about that sort of thing, about just how our culture, we really like to make fun of other people to feel better. And so if we see that someone's having a hard time and they're saying weird shit, we're just like, oh, yeah.
You're a freak.
And really what I think that really is a sign of is sincerity. And it would be so weird to be in that world and be a sincere, emotional person.
Sure. Who's
unbelievably talented. So that's kind of how I feel about it. And I didn't even want to do it at first when I thought about doing Sinead. And I've been wanting to, because we were doing, in this podcast, we're kind of covering people that meant a lot to us. And I may not listen to her as much now, but 1988, when that happened to me, it was like a fucking thunderbolt. Because as soon as that happened, then I went and got Lion of the Cobra, which was her first album. And I was a singer, as I told you, when I was young, and I'd never heard anybody sing like that, and I wanted to do that. Like, I didn't even know that it was possible to do that, because what she does so much, which we're going to get into this record, and if you do anything, as I said many times, if you do anything today, listen to the fucking Lion and the Cobra whole way through. It's such a good album that they did. And I'm going to give you a little background about this record before we listen to it.
Okay.
She's 20 years old.
Yep.
When she made this record. And she wrote it with the other people as well. One of them being, who's very pivotal and important, John Reynolds, was her drummer and helped produce that record. And they went to this cottage in Oxfordshire and worked on it and demoed the whole record.
This is her first studio record.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so they practiced and demoed with the musicians before they went into the studio. And these were session players, but they did they were really good musicians that she was playing with. But they did this ahead of time, which was not something people usually did. They usually would just show up and, kind of, these people know how to play.
Yeah.
So they really were into it. And they were saying the thing that was really interesting about this record was that people always think, about Prince's influence on her career because of Nothing Compares to You. But really, there was more an influence. I didn't know this until I read this before this podcast, is when they were making Lion and the Cobra, they'd done all these demos, and then they went to go record it, and it was kind of sounding like, they felt like at the time, U2 was like the biggest export musically to come out of Ireland, and everyone was just waiting. And obviously there's been other bands, but as far as huge, people were just like, the only other, this article mentioned the only person was the guy that sang Lady in Red. Apparently he's Irish, which I didn't realize. And
it's a good song.
Which is another connection, which is, I know I'm going to talk a little bit in the front and then we're going to play a lot of music. Well, and actually, I'll tell that part later, which remind me, I'm going to bookmark it.
The Lady in Red.
I'm going to book right.
Destroy the microphone.
I'm going to destroy the microphone. So anyway, I'm writing a note. So anyway, the record, there's a lot of pressure. They wanted to have like this like great new Irish artist.
Okay.
So they had like this producer that had worked with the Waterboys, which is a really big band in Ireland. And they were kind of getting it. It was sounding like it, but they were like, this just sounds contrived. It just sounds like we're just going in the studio and making a record kind of thing. Okay. So they were in Fandom and they went and bought Prince's new record, which was, they had gotten a copy of it. They didn't buy it. They got like a new pressing, like an advanced pressing of Sign of the Times, which is a double record.
Okay.
And it was a different record for Prince. We have it here. It has more samples and less, it's more minimalistic and like strange.
Okay.
There's a lot of experimentation. And that had such an influence on them that they went back and took out a whole bunch of shit, started doing some weirder things, and reinterpreting the record and got much more conceptual. And
nice.
And it made it, I mean, I just think this record, like I said, there's not much else like it. It can be a little dramatic. It can be sparse. It's biblical. It has like stories in it. It's so crazy. Like, yeah, I mean, so let's listen to a little bit of it. So we started with the first song of the record, and I want to play a little bit more of it.
Okay.
This song is called Jackie, and it's how she starts the record. And I just think it's amazing because it just gets, doesn't even, it's right in it. So let's go back into it just for a little bit more into Jackie.
Ready? All right, then.
I remember the day the young man came, said your Jackie's gone, we are lost in the rain, and I ran to beach and laid me down. You're all wrong, I said, and they stared at the sound. That man knows that sea like the back of his hand. He'll be back sometime.
Yeah.
I think that was the first time I heard an Ebo.
Huh. That.
Yeah, it's definitely an Ebo.
Kicking in there.
An Ebo, just for people who don't know, I realize sometimes I say things and I don't explain what they are. It's an electronic, vibrating little doohickey. It's usually black, and it has two little ridges on the top and on the bottom. So it goes on the top string and the bottom string of an electric guitar.
Yeah.
And it has this little red laser, like it looks like a laser, but it makes it vibrate so that you don't have to strum, and it just makes it go. So then when you hit chords with your fingers on the fret, it makes, so you don't have to do anything. We used them a lot in the band I was in, and a lot of bands use them. But that was an Ebo. So
it makes all of the strings vibrate?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So when you hear that.
So then it's just you just pushing on the fret, and then it's making that long, sustained. Mm-hmm. It's got sustain.
It does have sustain. So it's sustain and vibration all the same.
That was a joke from...
like a laser. That's a joke?
Yeah.
I said no jokes.
Yeah,
I'm just joking. What was it a joke from?
From oh, God. The fake music documentary about the Harry Shearer and those guys.
Oh, Spinal Tap?
Yeah. He's like, don't even look at that guitar. It's got sustain.
Which reminds me, once again, see, Brian, that was an okay joke. What we were talking about earlier, we were talking about comedy, and I didn't finish the thought because we got into like a documentary music kind of situation, is that I really do think, I think jokes are great. Jokes should be made. But I do think that people sometimes just like make a simple one, and that was like the 80s.
Yeah.
And 90s, I think, was just like, just kind of the dumbest, easiest way to make a joke sometimes, instead of like being a little more. And
clearly at someone's expense.
Yeah. Which is just like kind of the easiest. It's like when you're a little kid and someone's just like, what? You got a limp? Or like whatever it is. Or like, what, you're a girl or something? It's like, yeah, actually I am. Anyway, just that kind of stuff is just, like, I have to say, I remember, we've talked about this too. I remember when I was a kid in the 80s, people would have these joke book collections, and it was so racist.
They're just dumb,
it was
and
like,
racist and horrible.
It was like, I can't remember the name.
But there were like whole jokes about races.
It was a whole book.
People.
It was the WASP joke book, the Polish joke book, the Italian joke book, and it was all the same fucking jokes.
Yeah.
They just changed the nationality.
Yeah.
It was horrible. And people had them in their houses, like encyclopedic collections. You know, it was like, you know, they had that. And it was just like, what in the world? You know, and I just remember being at slumber parties and people would like read out of those books.
Well, somebody who just recently passed away, whose name I shall not evoke.
I don't even
was he was a purveyor of those exact things. And it's pretty
Definition.
awful.
Yeah,
horrible person.
Anyway, so getting into a little bit more music.
Yes.
Let's listen to the single that I heard.
Yeah, so this was the one playing on Letterman.
Yeah, maybe go a little forward on it, though. Yeah, this is, was Letterman or Late Show? I have to look it up again. Don't play it yet.
It'd probably be Letterman. That'd be my guess.
Letterman.
I mean, she eventually made it on Saturday Night Live, famously.
Yeah. Let's play. This song is called Mendica.
Okay.
I'm dancing with 7 bells, watching to pick up my star. See how the black moon fades. Soon I can give you my heart.
I did pause it because we're going to go right back up.
Okay.
One second, I'm going to go back just a little tiny bit.
Okay.
Because I can't not hear that part.
That's a hair raiser on
Ready?
the neck
Here it
right
goes.
there.
Right here it goes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I don't know no shame, I feel no pain, I can't see the flame, but I do know Mandica. I do know.
Mandica. It's a good one.
And also, just, you know, Brian has heard some Sinead in our house. Just a little bit. That's what you're going to say.
I was just going to say, you remember we took a trip
I was gonna
to the
mention.
land of Ireland.
We did 3 years ago.
Yeah.
We got to go to Ireland. I was just a little bit excited, which is what I was going to bring up now. We can talk about the Irish trip, but we'll also talk about Ireland trip. Is that when I was a little kid, and I think this happens to at least it happened to me. I think it's because of I was born with a different last name than my mother remarried. It's very 80s.
Yep.
It's just the story
Situation.
of the 80s. But my born last name was Flannery.
Okay.
And I loved my name
Yeah.
because I felt like I had...
You were an Irish person.
Yeah, it's silly. Well, because I was around people who
Or
were
you
Catholic.
could be a Scottish person with that kind of name.
No, it's an Irish name, but my grandfather was Scottish and my grandmother was Irish. So anyway, I just loved that name very much. And then it changed. It's fine, it changed. But I just remember when I saw her, and at the time I was very into U2 already when I saw Sinead.
Yes.
Which reminds me, I have to go back. I messed up something.
Oh,
it's fine. It's
goodness
fine.
gracious.
It's not a big deal. It's about U2, actually.
Wait, me?
No. About U2, the band. Brian.
Oh,
Bono,
right.
The Edge. So anyway, I really was it made me feel like I had some kind of connection to her, which is so silly because I'm just this white girl who's living in the States and has no real ethnic identity. But I just really wanted to be Irish, I think, and feel like I was a part of that. And so I was obsessed with U2. And so when we, and I did feel that way when I was young and emulated her and wanted to sing like her, because as you just heard in that song, how she can be so soft and have that clear, beautiful voice and then get so loud and screamy is great. So great. No one does that as well as she does. So anyway, we went to Ireland.
We did.
And I think, what did I play the entire time?
Sinead O'Connor.
And not just her.
And U2.
I played every single U2 record.
Not only that, we visited a site on the
We went to the
album
Unforgettable
cover.
Fire. We went to the castle. And I was so silly because I was we're totally breaking it. Because I looked it up. Because I didn't look, our trip was a little seat by the pants. We had some of it planned, but we were trying to get into the countryside. I didn't really want to be in cities, and neither did you. But it was our first time, and we realized we were staying. First of all, as soon as we got there, we ended up at the castle where they filmed Mighty Python's
Life of Brian or no?
The Holy Grail.
Holy Grail. Yeah.
Which was crazy. And it's not that amazing of a castle, but still,
It's still
cool as
fun,
shit.
yeah.
And like it was just closing, and we were like, "What?" And then anyway, I was like, but I did plan the next day. I looked it up, and right by we were staying for the night was the castle they filmed. They filmed the video for Unforgettable Fire
and shot the album cover.
Shot the album covers. I was like, oh my god, we have to go there. And as soon as we got there, typical to me, I don't like to break rules, which is weird. I always say I'm a nonconformist rule follower. And you made me climb over some barbed wire and do it. And I did. And I'm really glad we did.
Yeah.
But it was cool to see it.
It was really cool to see it.
And yeah, I did make you listen to nothing but U2 and Sinead O'Connor.
Appropriately.
Because it was ridiculous.
Yes.
And wonderful. But anyway, so what I failed.
So I remember listening to that almost like right off the bat. That immediately took me back to that moment.
Well, like I said, it's always shocking to me because Sinead O'Connor, this is not an obscure artist that we're covering, obviously. No. But I do hope to kind of glean some light because I am always surprised at how many people have not heard Line in the Cobra.
Okay.
They've heard the next record after this, which we'll cover a little bit, but it's already been way covered. Nothing Compares to You was a ridiculous hit. It was over the top huge.
That's right. Solid. Some might say Stone Cold Classic.
Stone Cold Classic. But anyway, Line in the Cobra, I'm always just surprised because I feel like amongst people I know that like music, I mean, that record it's there.
Tip top.
It should be.
Number one.
It was voted, I think, like the best debut record of 1987.
I hate to do it again.
It came out in 87.
But this whole record sounds like a Stone Cold Classic to me, Melissa.
It freaking is. Stone Cold, like old classic, like medieval classic. So anyway, the thing I forgot about, which I do want to play for a second, is before this record came out, the only way people had heard her, like, I mean, there was other little things that she had done, but she sang on a soundtrack for a movie. It's called The Captives.
Okay.
And it's Captive. And it was, The Edge did the soundtrack.
Okay.
And so she sings this song, and it's called Heroine. I'm going to see if I can find the beginning of it. I'm going to listen to a little bit of it.
Huh.
I don't know if I've ever played it for you.
It's interesting. You would think there would be a connection between those two.
What?
U2 and Sinead O'Connor.
Well, at the time, her manager used. This is what's interesting. Her manager, when she got signed, used to be U2's manager.
Okay.
But he had been fired because he said something about how he was talking shit about U2.
Oh no!
About how they were getting a little too big for their whatever. Or so he said something. And then, like, he got fired. And then he was her manager. So she was taking his attitude about U2 at the time and didn't really...
They were getting too big.
They became, actually... She got along fine with them. But at first, it was kind of a thing because of her manager. So let's listen to... it's from the movie Captive, which I've actually never seen. And Michael Brook, who I really love, who's another musician, did the soundtrack with The Edge. So, right?
I'm ready.
Let's listen to it. Captive. Heroine.
Afraid, but you will not run alone. Thy will be done. Confessed, but you still feel the shame. Bring me into your arms again.
Edge action there at the end. That's a super...
He's a 19-year-old.
He's 19?
She is.
Oh.
She is.
Super 80s synthesizer sound there.
It's a great song, actually. It's on the soundtrack. On the mix, so people should check it.
There's a little Hail Mary in there.
Little Hail Mary.
I don't know if you noticed. Thy will be done.
Yeah.
So there's some Catholicness going on.
There's always some religion in what she does. I mean, she's a very religious person, obviously. There's a lot of that going on. So the next song I want to get into offline in the Cobra is a song called Jerusalem, speaking of religion. Yes. And we're going to play 3 sections of it.
Okay.
We're going to go 3.
A triple. 3
we're
for 3.
We're going to go for 3. I think even one time I'm going for 4 on one of these songs.
Out.
No, I think just 3. This must. Okay. Ready?
I'm ready.
Let's listen to some Jerusalem.
All right, then.
You're going to hear a little bit more. We're going to go
Okay.
back up.
I mean, it seems like it's a grower. Like
Oh, it is.
There's
Ready?
some moments.
Let's go up and see.
All right, then.
Ran down and the lady said it. Got tore down and the priest just said it. Got burned up. They give me 5 years. Ooh, 5 years. It's my turn. Jerusalem.
That's cool.
A little powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, just a little. Just imagine when you're 15 or 14. Did you have any? You probably didn't hear Lion and Cobra.
No.
Before you met me, did you listen to Lion and Cobra?
No way.
Did you hear Mandika? You probably heard Mandika.
Probably heard Mandika on the
college
radio
radio.
or something like that. But yeah, no. Didn't own it. Didn't listen
It's
to
okay.
it.
No, it's okay. But what is, you can be really honest. I did write down a lot of questions for you for this episode, so you're going to get it. I know.
What?
Because understand, remember what we were doing in this podcast is sometimes just silly, but also sometimes I just really want your genuine feelings about it. And you
Sure.
don't have to feel like this is a safe space that you can
You
talk
always
about
say
it.
that.
Yeah, I mean it though. Because it shouldn't be like that. I really do find it interesting. Like, do you have any kind of emotional reaction to hearing that kind of music? Or what do you think?
Yeah. It's super good.
Yeah.
She's great. I mean, when you did the thing in Ireland, I was all for it. I mean, that was great.
Because, I mean, her, so just as you know, the man, she's also pregnant on this record.
Oh.
She's 20 years old and she's pregnant, which I also relate to because I had a child when I was 21. So I very much understand that. But I can't imagine, like, but I will say when you're young like that and you're pregnant, I do think,
Your body's a little more resilient.
I was really,
or
no, I don't mean that. I don't want to, no, I just mean like, it didn't slow me down creatively.
yeah.
It definitely, but if anything, it made me more creative, I think, in some ways. You know what I mean? Because you're just, I don't know. And I think
You're
it happens. I think it
you're
probably
in the
happens.
process of
I don't
creating.
think that, I don't want to
and so
age
you're like,
that. I don't think it has anything. Yeah, exactly. You're like, I'm going to go one up and create some more. No, but I do think that's something I failed to mention. She's pregnant while she's making this record. Not that it's totally relevant, but she's pregnant with produced John Reynolds' child. His name's
Okay.
going to be Jake. It's her first kid.
But I mean,
and they were to marry.
It can be difficult to sing while you are pregnant.
Yeah, it can be. I don't think she was late yet. But anyway, it was amazing to me that she was doing this. And just, I don't know, it's just hard for me to articulate. Like when I hear this record, like I think some people would think like it's too serious or it's too whatever. But like, especially there's a live VHS thing that I watched once. I don't know if it must be something that was like at a rental store or something. It's how I would have seen it of this particular album. Because my biggest sadness is that I did not see this tour. And I couldn't have probably, but I would have lost my mind because I've seen her, we'll get into it later, but she doesn't play songs from this record. She will not.
Huh.
And that makes me sad. She'll play like I Want Your Hands on Me, which is like a poppy song that MC Light sang on with her.
Interesting.
Yeah, on this record. That was a big hit.
Buffalo Dance.
That's
that MC Light?
no, that's Nia Cherry, who would be covered at some point actually, because she was a big love of mine as well. But no, MC Light is an American rapper.
I know. I'm just trying to think of MC Light's big cut, but it doesn't matter.
Okay. Anyway, so we're gonna go back up on the song. Am I talking?
Oh,
I
yeah,
need to go
that's right.
back
You
up.
got
We're not even
triples.
done with this. I'm not even like I'm just
You're
like
gushing
You
over
notice
it.
too that like I planned on being a little bit of a gusher this time. And I'm like, it's okay, Melissa. You can like gush about it a little bit because like I said, I don't listen to her as much anymore, and I feel kind of bad about that. And I have this problem where it's not a problem, I think, but I will be intensely into a musician for like a number of years, and then I just move on.
Well, it's because you're so intense about
I'm
it.
a serial monogamist.
You consume it so deeply.
deeply.
After a while, you're like, okay, I've done it.
But I
Now
still
can go.
revisit it. But I will say that not as obsessively.
Yeah, no, I felt the same thing about when I was getting ready for my thing. There were things I was listening to that I listened to obsessively when I was, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And I listened to it again. I'm like, this is good, but, I'm not as obsessed about it anymore.
But I guess what I'm trying to do with this one is if you haven't yet done it,
Do it.
you need to go do it. Spend an afternoon. Okay, so here's a little bit more of Jerusalem.
Okay.
think I actually completely ripped that off at one point in my singing career.
Yeah.
The whole, no, I know I did. I know I did.
There's been a lot of Eddie Vedder. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I'm saying, like, but no one sang like that before that. You have to understand, like, I don't think people give her enough credit. Like, there would be no Dolores or Reardon without
You don't
Sinead.
think people give Sinead O'Connor
No,
credit?
I don't. Not enough. No, I don't. I don't think so. No, I think she's kind of...
Oh, because there's so much criticism of her as a person, they don't give her enough.
As a vocalist, no, I don't think
as an influence on others.
Yeah. I mean, like, huge.
Because she's an odd person to relate to or something like that. Is that what you were talking about earlier?
Controversial, probably.
Yeah.
But unnecessarily so. But anyway, I just think, her voice is just insane to me.
It really is.
And what her husband at the time, John Reynolds, said is she could sing over anything. Like, he knew that the power of that record completely lay with her.
Right.
You know, it's just her voice is so amazing and impactful. There's no way, you know, like she wrote those songs as well. She's playing guitar and she's singing with this band, but you know, like it's just her voice. It's her presence. Like you can't even.
Right. That band could be playing behind Phil Collins or
and it wouldn't be
Prince or whatever, you know, it's the same kind of sound a little bit. It's an 80s sound. It's not bad.
No, they're good players.
They're good players who are super tight and has a tight arrangement.
Some of them are in Adam and the Ants. Some of them had been in the drummer had been in the Waterboys. Not the Waterboys. He'd been in what's the name of it? The Jaw Wobble. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I have a whole stack of records next to me. Wait.
Jaw Wobble.
Yeah, it's a band.
Like,
it's a band. Anyway. So let's listen to another song off this record. And I'm not going to say anything about this one until after you hear the beginning part.
Okay.
This one's called Never Gets Old.
All right.
Except we do. Ready?
Angel at the hill, to a hossen at the glitchy goleer. Umbrashed hul in a lewe, sin a welfy the house in a cluche. Satellite to an yon is a neher. You to the hosses and yon og is a dragon.
Young woman with a drink in her hand. She liked to listen to rock and roll. She moves with the music.
Wow.
Do you remember
Celtic.
that? That's Gaelic.
Yeah.
And it's Enya.
Oh.
It's Enya speaking.
Interesting.
Which is the other huge Irish import at that point.
Okay.
Yeah. So export, excuse me, not import. She wasn't imported back to Ireland. Yeah. So Enya is singing, she's speaking at the beginning of that.
Cool.
She's speaking in Gaelic, which is the other thing. There was Gaelic on it. I was just like losing my fucking mind. And then like doing that thing that she's doing vocally, like, I mean, it's just, I don't even
and
wanna
there is that whole tradition of Gaelic singing that is very like flowery and
she's
high and,
she has a traditional base for
Yeah.
sure, and she definitely is. She has quite a few songs that she sings a cappella. She doesn't even need, you know, she can do it. She can bring it
not to
all by itself. Yes.
I'm curious. This is just coming to mind when we did Cocteau Twins. She had a similar, just like very operatic, and I wonder if there was ever any like, did they
Celtic-y thing you're
talk
saying?
or communicate or have any crossover at any point?
I don't know. I wasn't friends with them, but
Can you
I
get
would
on
have
that,
loved
please?
to have found out. I'm sure they've met each other. I mean, at some point.
But I mean, you know, these very talented people, they come from a tradition of this kind
Celtic
of singing. Yeah.
I imagine, I mean, I can't, I would be speaking out of my arse.
Certainly.
But I would say that there's probably some Celtic influence, obviously, from where they live. You know, one's in Scotland, one's in
for
Ireland.
sure.
I'm sure that there's some of that.
Some connection.
But let's listen to a little bit more into that song.
Okay.
So you can hear what's going to happen.
do
Ready?
it.
Never Gets Old.
Satellite to an yon is a neher. You to the hosses and yon og is a dragon. Or hook she ordered angel at the hill, to a hossen at the glitchy goleer. Umbrashed hul in a lewe, sin a welfy the house in a cluche. Satellite to an yon.
little power behind that one.
Just a little. I mean, yeah, she's just a little light on the sauce. They're like, okay, I want you to go in there. And I just want you to just do this as subtly as you possibly can. And that's what she did.
Yeah.
She was like, I did.
I got it.
I did it.
So do you think she has to stand like 5 feet away from the microphone when she's doing that? Like...
Well, I think I'm going to connect. I do think, so I have seen her sing that one live from that video I'm talking about. I bet you I can YouTube it. Because nowadays they got YouTube.
They
you
sure
can just look
do.
things up on YouTube. So I'm going to look up that particular performance and see if I can put it as a connected thing to this. Because it's, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So this next song was another single off this record. It's called Troy. And I think I skipped it when we were in Ireland just because it is so intense. But I have to say that this song, especially when I was young, was the shit to me because it was super like emotional and upset about being betrayed. And I had never really been betrayed, but I was like, once again, like feeling like very intense about this song. I think a lot of people feel that way about this song in particular, because it's very much kind of like, you know, the way that Joan of Arc kind of situation, like, you know, the phoenix from the flames. She's talking about, there's a lot of imagery and like, you have to just listen to it. Let's listen to it a little bit.
Let's just listen to it.
She even talks about a dragon in it, for Christ's sake.
Oh my gosh.
I fucking
Dragon
love it.
Lady.
No,
the original Dragon
That's
Lady.
amazing. Do you know, like at the time, I was trying to read Tolkien, couldn't fucking do it. Whole middle school, I think the whole time, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, I am dyslexic. I know that map in the front of the book very well. But like I tried so hard to read the book and I did finally get through, but it took me 3 years, I think, to read Tolkien.
Okay. It's a big book. It's a long book.
Yeah, because like I had a learning disability.
Yeah, it takes time.
Yeah, but anyway, but when I heard her, it was much like when you heard Kate Bush talking about Wuthering Heights. I was like, she's talking about books and music? It was very exciting. You know, it was like, wow. Like it was pretty an intense thing for me. So anyway, let's listen to Troy.
Okay, then.
I remember it in Dublin in a rainstorm. We're sitting in the long grass in summer, keeping warm. I remember it every restless night.
Oh, we're going to go up in 3 parts in this one. And I'm
Three
not
is the
gonna interrupt it.
3-parter.
So she did this in one take.
Of course.
This song is 6 minutes and 31 seconds.
Get out.
And it is vocally challenging. So this song, when I was first learning to, like, my first song I ever sang that I remember very vividly was Rainbow Connection.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking
Classic.
about.
Rainbow Connection.
Yeah. And I was like in elementary school or something. And I remember vividly singing that song and being like, oh, I like the way my voice sounds. Because I had a very like voice. When I heard this song, I spent, I think, every weekend when my parents were not home in front of the stereo trying to sing this song.
Okay.
And I would just sing it and 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 sing it. So, but it's a little, it doesn't.
Were you wearing headphones? Or you just singing it out loud?
I think they had a microphone or something maybe.
Okay.
Maybe they did. I don't really remember. Let's listen to a little bit more of Troy.
All right.
There you go.
What do you want to do? Does she need you like I do? Do you love her? Is she good for you? Does she hold you like I do?
Goodness.
Oh, we're going to go back up in just a second.
So it's almost like an opera.
Oh, yeah. And it has, you hear the strings and everything. And it had the video. She's like, it's amazing. We'll watch it later.
Okay.
Ready? Let's go back up again and hear some more.
All right.
You want me? Should I leave? I know you're always telling me that you love me, but just sometimes I wonder if I should believe. Oh, I love you. God, I love you. I'd kill a dragon for you.
You just heard her, right? What did she say, Brian?
She said she'd kill a dragon for this person.
That is fucking serious. So this is a 4-parter. This is the last part we're going to go up. This is the first time on I Already Told You That. We're having 4 times.
4-parter.
And it is well deserved. Let's go back up on Troy. Ready?
Yeah.
But I will rise, and I will return. The phoenix from the flame. I have learned I will rise, and you'll see me return. Being what I am. There is no other Troy for me to burn. And you should have left the light on.
Intensity in 10 cities.
Just a little bit. I think that song, like, it's weird because I don't listen to it as much anymore. I think it's because it's so intense. It's so much. But it's so great. Like, no one in my mind has ever had like that kind of like
Journey?
like that emotional of a response, like in a song about being done wrong. It's like a little bit beautiful to me. Dragons are mentioned. Phoenix come back from the flame. I think there's also, there is no other Troy for me to burn. It's going back to all this like mythology. It's just really cool. Anyway, I can't handle it. Yeah, I've never played it for you because this is what's so silly about our relationship. I feel very comfortable with you. I adore you. But I don't play Troy for you because I'm like, oh, he will never be able to handle Troy. I feel like, and this is what I was thinking the other day when I said to you this was going to happen in this podcast, is I self-edit sometimes around you and I have no idea. You may not think I do, but sometimes I do. Like some things I'm like, I don't want him to make fun of that or not like that. So and I don't play for you. And that's one of the reasons I almost didn't do Sinead O'Connor. And I was like, that is silly.
Gracious, Melissa.
That is silly.
That is silly. It's
Because
silly.
I think that, sometimes people think things are silly. They like to make jokes. We're not making jokes this time.
Jokes. Serious.
So we're going to do one more song off this record.
Okay.
And then we are going to get to some other things because
right.
this episode might be a little bit long. This next one is one I really love, and it's really simple. And hopefully you remember hearing it. If not, I'll be very upset. I'm just kidding. Don't put it up yet. It's called Just Call Me Joe, and I think it's just a great way to end a record. It's just super chill and beautiful. So let's go on. I'm just going to play one more part of it because you can't really tell what it's doing yet right there, you know? So
It's kind of building a little bit.
It is. It's totally building. So I think we should hear what it's going to do.
Okay.
Do you remember the name of the song?
Hello, Joe.
Just Call Me Joe.
Just Call Me Joe.
Let's go up.
Just call me Joe. Just call me Joe. Don't call me Mister. Just call me Joe. Don't call me sweetheart. Just call me Joe.
Nice.
You like that one?
Yeah.
So did you ever have, when you were young
Yeah.
and you admired a band, and the band, like say it was even a male singer, did you ever like not only admire them, but like kind of like, and I'm not saying like you're in love with this person, but like that you wanted to like be that person.
Be that person.
Not even just be that person, but you wanted to be like that person, or you were like, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like when you were young, what was your like, how did you fixate on things like that? Like, did you fixate on things like that? I didn't do it often. It was only with like 3 people.
I know that I did. It would probably take me a while to like dig through and really pinpoint it. But I unfortunately for me, it's probably like really kind of embarrassing things.
No, it's not embarrassing.
That's not like something interesting or cool. But yeah, I think, like there were sports figures that certainly figured into that. I was a big fan of Willie McGee. He's a center fielder for the Cardinals. I liked him. I wanted to be like him. I would have to think about it more, but I know that like music definitely, I had my little tape collection. I had a little boom box in my room and I did, Melissa, but I can't think specifically what that is.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling this happened to you with Sinead O'Connor.
Well, it was it was a whole bunch of stuff. I think, like I was a late bloomer, so I was definitely hitting puberty at that particular point in time. And I just thought like she was both sexual and not sexual, both like really beautiful and then androgynous. She was just so many things to me in a way that like was overwhelming to me, like in this like way. Like she was like pure womanhood to me. Like, you know what I mean? But she wasn't, but she was wearing baggy clothes. She wasn't the version of women that had been like 80s shoved down my throat.
Right.
So it was very refreshing to me.
Yeah.
And she was just bold and
in your face.
Yeah. It was I was totally captivated by it.
Wow.
I think I was both like that's what I'm saying, like I was just in love with her probably. Like as like a little teenager, you know what I mean? I was like, wow. That's just like with her spirit and like what she kind of was bringing.
Yeah.
At that time, the beginning part of her career was like, it was very fresh. She wasn't annoyed by it yet and all those things. It was still very,
new and cool and interesting and
for all of us.
Yeah.
So it was but I don't remember having that. I'm not a sycophant. It's not really how I operate personally. And I have no problem with people who do. It's just, it's not my thing. I don't really like obsess. Like in that way, I obsess about music, but I don't.
Yeah. Wait a second.
I don't obsess about the people themselves, ever really.
Right. Like wanting to go like chase them down.
No, I'm not like that.
See their house.
Like I don't feel comfortable even. Like in this podcast, we got lucky enough to have one of the musicians that we talked about. I got to talk to them and I was really into doing that, but I also feel uncomfortable because it's not the way I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'd love to meet them. Like it was nice with that person because it was more friendly, like a friend, but like, I'm like, I would totally do it in that way, but I would never be like.
You were less than 10 feet away from Brian Eno. And I was like, go talk to him. And you're like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm like, he's right there. Go talk to him.
You were having a little aid in your courage at the time.
Still, even way.
Well,
I wasn't going to talk to him.
Something he's heard 500 times. I mean, I was going to tell him that when Brian and I got married, we walked to a Brian Eno song.
We did.
And I don't think everyone on the planet's done that. So I wanted to tell him that.
I think that
I didn't.
If you ever got the chance to meet Sinead O'Connor, and I mean, I've done this, or somebody said this one time, it's like, you just say thanks. Like, hey, I really like your music. Thank you for doing it. It's cool. I'm glad you did it.
I would do it as a peer, but I'm not interested in doing it in that way. Cause I just feel like they've heard it so many times. It's just not interesting.
Yeah, but it's still, when you do that kind of thing, I mean, she's doing it because she's an artist and she probably can't help herself, but you are putting something out into the world. You have some responsibility to listen to people's reaction to it.
I don't know if people have a responsibility.
You don't think so?
No, I don't.
Somebody doesn't have, like, if you put something out in the world, if someone says, hey, thanks, that was really nice, you can say,
you don't have to say anything back.
Fuck you.
Yeah, it's not their responsibility. I don't agree with that. I think people put way too much pressure on artists. They should be able to create and make their stuff. They don't owe you anything more than that.
I suppose not, but I mean,
of course,
they
there's
can be
nicety.
a human.
You don't want someone to be a jerk or something,
right.
But I don't think they owe you their whole life. No, I don't. I think we bug them way too much and expect people to like talk to us when they don't know who we are.
That's true.
I think we bug them, and I think it's super annoying. I would
have
never
opinions about things
go
they
up to
shouldn't
her.
have
If
opinions.
I saw her in public, I would never go up to her and bother her. I would never do that.
Yeah,
I'm not. You know that. You tried to get me to bug somebody, and I was like, no, I will not do that. I think it's super annoying and intrusive. It's one thing if you're at a meet and greet, then you can you can talk to
There's a
David.
purpose
You can
to
talk
it.
to David Sedaris when he's signing your book, but you don't go up to him in the store like, hey, David Sedaris, you going to say something funny? No, leave the motherfucker alone,
Right.
Like he just wants to go grocery shopping. He doesn't
That's what I'm saying though. Like if you had
I don't like that kind of interaction.
to meet her on a professional level, I don't know what I'm trying to say. It
that'd be
doesn't matter.
different. That'd be different.
Doesn't matter. Anyway,
Let's play another song. So this
Okay.
is another song that is another one-off that I just want to play before we get into our next record. It was with the Color Field, which was a band, and the song is called Monkey in Winter. And I've always been a fan of it, so and I know that it never gets played, so I would like to play it because it's a rarity.
All
So
right,
let's
then.
listen to Monkey in Winter with Sinead.
Okay.
Remember tumbleweeds on an empty road, the coffee pot on a burning stove, Christmas tree in a place called home. That's what I miss the most. As drifting leaves fall to the ground, I scoop them up and I throw them down. I close my eyes and I start to count the lonely people leaving town, and I feel like a monkey in winter.
Feel like
Anyway.
a monkey in winter.
Who doesn't feel like a monkey in winter? I feel like a monkey in winter right now. But anyway, we're going to move on because I realize we're talking too much, but I don't think we're just
Too
talking
much
too
talk.
much. I was like, this last few times I've heard our podcast, I've been like, we're just like jumping right into it. We're not talking to each other. So I'm glad we're talking to each other.
gosh,
Might
we're
just take a little
talking.
too much time. Sorry. So then she did this album. It's really obscure. It's called I Don't Want What I Haven't Got. No one's heard of it. It had this song called Nothing Compares to You. It was a cover by Prince,
Oh,
which actually was a side project of his. It wasn't like a Prince song. It was Prince and he wrote it, but it wasn't like on one of his like main records. But let's listen to some songs from that. I'm gonna see if you recognize this one. I'm not gonna tell the name of it until after. Ready? You should know this one.
all right.
Ready? Let's go. You have a face that you've never heard that song.
Nope.
Where were you in 1990?
1990. Let's see. I was a freshman in high school, so probably listening to Bat Dance.
You did not hear this record? This was like a huge record. I'm gonna ask a prying question, and you can handle it.
Go right
Was it
ahead.
because it was a female artist, or is it like at that age? I'm saying at that age, it would be
What?
normal at that age, like back
Melissa,
then. I'm just saying, like, what
get
was it?
out.
What was it?
I have no idea. I don't know. I was listening to the radio and like tapes that people gave to me.
And when I say that to you, I don't mean that. Like, I just mean when you're young,
Yeah.
like ninth grade,
Yeah.
you can maybe not want to pick up a record that has like, like.
I was listening to classic rock radio and like Tom Petty and Creedence Clearwater Revival probably and Led Zeppelin.
Yeah,
A lot of that.
Yeah.
That's why.
it's okay.
I mean, if it wasn't on the radio,
It was on the
probably-
radio.
Probably was, but
It was hugely on the radio.
I don't recognize that song.
Yeah, maybe not that one as much, but like definitely the other songs were pretty big, like Emperor's New Clothes,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. So let's play a few more. That was not meant.
It's a cool breakbeat. Yeah. If I was like
And it
if I
gets
was a
more
DJ.
involved. And she sang that song a cappella, obviously.
Yeah.
Much like Susan Vega has Uncle Tom's Diner that did songs all
Yeah,
a cappella, but then they added a beat into it, but makes it much more catchy, obviously.
Indeed.
And then there was Emperor's New Clothes, which I'm not going to play. It's on the playlist. There'll be a lot more songs on the playlist than I'm going to play. But now we're going to play a song that I love very much called Jump in the River.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Say things of their own accord. I am preoccupied. I can't get them out of my mind. They are terrified. If you say jump in the river.
She had one on the last record that had like kind of a chunky guitar thing like that.
That's the Just Coming Show.
Gong, 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 gong.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that guitar, actually. And she's usually playing it.
I was going to say, that's probably her playing that, huh?
Because this record, she got a lot more acoustic. And at the time, I very much liked that. But I have to say that I prefer those songs really now more to me. Let's listen to a little bit further in this song. It's called Jump in the River. And I forgot the name of that song that we heard before, the drum beat, was I Am Stretched on Your Grave.
Right, I knew that.
Just making sure. Did I? Well,
I did know
I know,
that.
I know. I forgot to say the name of it. That's why.
I was joking about that.
What?
I didn't know the name of that song.
I know. That's not funny. Remember, there's no jokes. Right. Jump in the river.
Supposed to be here now. It's all been a gorgeous mistake. Sick one, clean one, the best one God ever made.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Go jump in a river.
Yeah, well, the whole idea, like, if you're going to jump off, or you're going to jump off a bridge, if you're, like, it's the whole, I guess maybe in Ireland they say jump in a river.
If you're off all your friends jump in a river,
She's saying, like, yes, I'm going to. I think I always love that song because it's basically just talking about, like, I can basically, like, just being into someone so much that, yes, I will go jump in a river and I will do silly things because, like, this person's great and I want to be around them, kind of thing. I liked it. So we're going to play just two more from this record because I realized, Brian, sometimes I don't know what it is. Somebody named Melissa who's doing this podcast goes on a little too long. I don't know how that happens.
Why does that possibly happen?
What's funny, I was like, oh, this won't even take very long, so I'm not even going to do all of our records, which I'm not.
Right.
And then I was like, shit, I'm still on the second one. Okay, right. Here we go. Let's listen to You Cause Us Much Sorrow.
Okay.
All in your minions. Let's see what you can find. Nighttime or morning, these hands are sticky, but I don't mind.
And we're going to go up because there's a really, I just wanted you to play the beginning part because it's, you notice like the guitar makes my teeth hurt because it's so like, you can hear it picking so much, like you can hear the metal.
It's a very
like,
clean.
It hurts. Like it's like chalk to me a little bit. And her voice too, when she sings that song, it's like you can hear every single
She's probably
noise
got,
that she's
yeah, they've got a very, very clean
which
recording.
I love, but it's also like, wow, she has a lot of mouth noise as it is,
Too much mouth noise.
And I'm like, I mean, I didn't mind, obviously. Like, I wanted to hear every single syllable that she was saying, but it's a lot. So anyway, we're going to go back up on this song.
Okay.
Ready? Let's go back up.
Why must you always ask me? Why can't you just leave me be? You've done nothing so far but destroy my life. You cause as much sorrow dead as you did when you were alive.
In particular, I wanted to play that one because she's really good at harmonies. Like, her harmonies are kind of insane. Like, I remember my friend Dan and I in high school. You've met Dan many times.
I have, yes, indeed.
He's pretty obsessed with her harmonies. Like, he'd always be like, this record in particular, he'd just be like, that song. He would sing that harmony all the time. And Emperor's New Clothes harmony as well. It's just crazy, the things she's singing.
That song I recognize.
You do
Melissa.
recognize
I know
that.
that song.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
I've heard that one before.
Yeah. And then we're just going to play a little bit of the one more song off this record, and then we're going to move on to the next one. This one's called Last Day of Our Acquaintance.
All right.
I don't know what that means. Right, let's try.
This is the last day of our acquaintance. I will meet you
that one?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we're going to go up just a little bit at the end so you can hear the ya, 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 ya. Ready? Let's go.
I'm torn, but you won't listen to me. I know your answer already. This is the last day of our acquaintance. Oh,
The aforementioned whoa, whoa, whoa.
There it is. That's good.
So that song, before the controversy that I don't really want to get into too much of her tearing up the photo of the Pope, she did play SNL before that.
Okay.
She played for this record and she sang this song and it was beautiful
Yeah.
because she did a totally different version of it and she was gutturally screaming that part, just like it was really punk and awesome and wonderful. And I'll show it to you because it's pretty great. And it's too bad. Next time, it's a little bit different. So then anyway, after that record came out in 90, as I said. And then she did this, there was a Wall tribute that had happened, which I have on the mix, but I'm not going to play, of The Wall, Pink Floyd.
Okay.
They played in Berlin in 1990 because of The Wall coming down.
Right.
And she sang as part of it, and she sang Mother,
Very nice.
which is really great. So it's on the mix. It's live, of course. And then also, right after that, right before she did another record, she did a Red Hot and Blue, which was a fundraiser for AIDS.
Right.
And it was all songs of Cole Porter. And I would like to play this song she did, which is so beautiful. It's You Do Something to Me.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah.
something to me, something that simply mystifies me.
Oh, sorry. I hit the button. I hit the button.
Lovely.
Yeah, we're going to go back up on that one just for a half second. Right here.
Okay.
You have the power to hypnotize me. Let me live beneath your spell. Do that voodoo that you do so well. For you do.
Very nice.
I loved it. And it was such a different thing. And in the video, she's wearing a blonde wig, which is
Oh,
insane.
yeah. I think I remember that.
Because she's like just very, kind of sexing it up, which is really not something she usually did. And so it was very weird and interesting. And then after that, she did a whole record of standards that she loved when she was a kid called Am I Not Your Girl, which a lot of people I love did. And they always get panned for it. I think that sucks. It came out in 92, and I actually enjoyed it. But and I do have one song from it on the record, on the playlist. And then she also did, right after that, in 93, In the Name of the Father soundtrack. She does a really beautiful song for that, which she did with Bono. And it's called You Made Me the Thief of Your Heart, which is also on the playlist.
All right.
Then we're going to get into a record you very much know because we listened to it a lot when we were in Ireland. And there was one song in particular that I love so much, and you know it. But I'm still going to play it again because this was like one of those times, like when I already told you that, when I knew that it stuck. Because like I have been like, this song is so beautiful. So the record is Universal Mother. It came out in 94, and I feel like she had a lot of pressure because, that record, the record that had Stretch on Your Grave and Nothing Compares to You was huge.
Yeah.
It was ginormous. But it always happens to artists after that. And I think she kind of was not really excited about it. So this one I really love because John Reynolds, who was they're no longer married at this point.
Okay.
But he's producing this record and he plays drums on it. And he produced quite a bit of her records. And so I never realized that I should have realized that the John I Love You song I'm about to play for you is for him. And it's so sweet because they're not even together anymore. This is just such a beautiful like tribute to him, you know. So I just think it's a really sweet song. So let's listen to a little bit of John I Love You. There's going to be 3 sections. This might even be, ladies and gentlemen, this is a 4-sectioner. But everything else, there's not many things left, actually. We only have a few songs left.
Okay.
So we're good. John, I love you.
John, I love you. I'm ever so fond of you. Will you wait for me till I am heavenly? Oh, there's much work to do.
Lovely.
You remember this one? You will.
Maybe.
You're like, maybe I remember it. I know you will. Let's go back up right here.
All right.
I let tears fall like rain, apple size they were. And through all of those times when you could have died, this is what.
Lovely.
Yeah, it
She
is.
cried tears apple-sized, is what she
I
said.
know. Let's go back up again. This is when I really, really love it. Ready? Let's
Yeah.
go.
There's life outside your mother's garden. There's life beyond your wildest dreams. There hasn't been any explosion. We're not spinning like Dorothy.
That's good. I mean, I like the arrangement a little more. It's not so full and there's a little more space in it.
I love the arrangement of this song. It's like so different than any other song she has.
That was almost like a little toy piano. It
There is a
sounded
toy
like.
piano. Yeah, let's listen to this. This is the last section. See, these 4 sections are going quick, right? The last part for John, I love you.
And if you look now, then you'll see why. Don't be afraid to cry this time. Don't let yourself fly. Child, pick up those dancing shoes. Kick off those wedding blues. These are the ways you can choose.
It's nice. Yeah. It's a pretty song.
Yeah, that song is redonkulous, in my opinion. Just because it's so sweet and
It is really nice,
tender.
and
And it's also like, and they're not a couple anymore. It's not about that. It's just about like, I don't know. You know, they share a child. You know,
Yeah.
so. And also, I think he takes care of her, like in a way. Like he's producing the records. He's always very much had a vested interest in her as a person. And I
Yeah.
think that's evident. And that's very nice.
It is very nice.
I like it. This is another song you will definitely know. Let's try this one. Ready? You will. I promise. There's no doubt. You're going to promise. Ready? Trust me. Trust me.
ready.
Should I say everyone is gay? What else could I write? I don't have the right. What else should I be? All apologies. In the sun, I feel as one.
I wonder why she chose to do that one.
It's 94.
Okay. So he is just passed? Is that what
I
happened?
I can't remember now. Was that the year he died?
Yeah,
I'm pretty
totally.
sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she did.
Summer, the spring of 94.
And I can't remember if she just did it and it had just so happened to have happened. I think that might have been more the case.
Yeah.
Because you have to record a record ahead of time. You know, I mean, I don't think it was.
Yeah, because that's the last record. I mean, you know.
Yeah. I remember being quite touched by it at the time because I was 19.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
No. Yeah. You were in
Yeah.
1994.
Yes. I'm a year older than you, Brian. I'm the older woman.
These things happen.
So the last song on this record that I want to listen to is called Thank You for Hearing Me. And I think it's really pretty, even though it's a little overproduced at times. I do
There's
like
the
it.
burps.
There's the burp. I was trying not to.
burps.
The cat doesn't come up here, though. She knows I'm here.
Well, and that's something else I learned in that seat. When you talk so much, you burp because you're like making stuff. Because I'm not over here burping.
Yeah, you're just chilling.
That's right.
I know, it's nice, right? This is called Thank You for Hearing Me. And let's listen to it.
Thank you for hearing me. 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 Thank you for love.
I was getting
I'm
into
gonna
a
go a
little.
little. I'm gonna get a little into that so you can hear it a little bit, so you can kind of hear what they're gonna do.
All right.
Let's get the right spot. Okay, you can go back up.
Thank you for staying with me. 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 Thanks for
I want to play it one last part of it because it's the part that I find so like because even though it's this like produced like poppy song, she's just over and over again thanking for something and like thanking for different elements of a partnership is what I'm assuming, or just like friendship or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it's very emotional, even though it's just, you know, it kind of seems like this poppy thing. You can
Yeah.
tell she's very sincere when she's doing it. And
Yeah.
this last part, oh my God, it killed me. So let's listen to it.
Thank you for breaking my heart. Thank you for tearing me apart. Now I'm a strong, strong heart. Thank you for breaking my heart.
Oh, it's so sad.
It doesn't seem like she is thanking that person.
No, I mean, I
She's-
think she is. That's what's crazy. It's this gratitude thing. It's just like, that's what's so interesting. If you listen to the whole song, I really do think that she is saying like, I have a stronger heart now. And I felt something. I think it's just that idea of feeling something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's intense, but I've always thought it was really interesting. So in between all that, after that, she did a reggae record, which you cannot find, which is actually pretty decent. It's called Throw Down Your Arms. She was on a Dolly Parton tribute, but that song isn't so, I wasn't that much of a fan of that. I mean, I love Dolly Parton, but the song itself wasn't one I loved.
Yeah.
And she had a few other things. She also had this record, Gospel Oak, which is when I saw her, which was 1997. Which is just an EP, and I'm going to play one song of it. It was really strange, though, at the time, because I was so excited to go to see her, and I got to see her with my friend Josh, who's, you know, no longer with us, which makes me a little bit sad. I've mentioned him a few times on this
Yeah.
podcast, and I didn't mention that, but he isn't. And that was like probably one of the last concerts we went together to. No, we saw some other concerts after that. But I remember him being really pissy with me because I wasn't as into this record, and he was one of those fans that when he loved something, he loved it.
Doesn't matter what they put out.
Like I remember, like he loved the Sundays, and the Sundays had put out this newer record in the 90s, and I thought it was total trash. And he was like so angry with me. He wouldn't talk to me for like a week. And it wasn't necessarily that I didn't like the record. It was just the way I was talking about it. He just was personally offended by it. Like,
Yeah.
He was just like, you know, like keep it to your fucking self. Like if you feel that way about it, but like, because I was just saying it was like they were trying really hard to be commercial, and he was like, like he had a love affair with him. And he's like, you do not talk about Harriet Wheeler this way. Like he was really upset.
He was pissed.
He was super mad. And same things happened in this concert where like, not really, we were having a great time, but we both loved Sinead O'Connor very much. And, but he was one of those people too that he would never like, he would make jokes, of course, but like he not at her expense. He loved her very much. And, I was saying how I was mad that she wasn't playing anything offline in the Cobra and he just wasn't having it. He was like, let me be in my place. But I was just like, because I had wanted to see her like my whole like young, my whole young life. And then I'm finally seeing her and she did not play No Jerusalem, none of it. She does not play it. And I was just like totally torn asunder that she would not. Torn asunder.
This is this is the first time you're seeing her play.
I'm seeing her 10 years after the record was made.
Yeah. So she's over it at that point.
But I think she didn't, I don't know how much, I think she kind of made that record and kind of moved on. I keep hitting the mic, I'm sorry.
Careful.
So I'm going to play a song off of it. It's called This Is to Mother You.
Okay.
Which is interesting title. Let me go back for it.
What's the record called again?
It's called Gospel Oak.
Okay.
Let's go up.
This is to mother you, to comfort you and get you through when your nights are lonely, through when your dreams are only blue. This is to mother you.
It's nice.
Well, the way she says mother.
Mother you?
Because I also think that's the other part of her is that I love that she called the last record Universal Mother because that's the vibe she gives off for sure to me. Like it was always like this very maternal, but in a very different way than I had before kind of felt. So I always thought it was really beautiful. Anyway.
So where did you see her live?
I saw her in Atlanta at that Chastain.
Okay.
Outside. Is Chastain the one that was outside?
Yeah.
It had like the little like built-in like step-y thing.
Yes.
Yeah. It's the only concert I ever saw there.
Yeah, I saw Neil Young there. Oddly enough.
That's funny.
That's the only time I've been there. I'm just wondering how that quiet of a song was outside like that.
Oh, I mean, she had a whole band. They were perfectly sound. And the people were rap. They weren't talking.
Yeah.
Although it was a very like Dunwoody kind of crowd. And I was like, what in the world is
What does
going on?
that mean for the uninitiated?
Like khaki Richie people. And I was like, what the hell? Like
They're not allowed to go
middle-aged,
see.
like Celestine Prophecy. I was like, get out of here, people. No, it's fine. Everyone, I know now that I'm nearly going to be 50 in the next 4 years that I shouldn't really say that.
That's right. You're going to be wearing khakis.
I'm like older than the people that I'm
muumuus.
disdaining. So yeah, it had nothing to do with their age, but it was just like a very like champagne crowd. And I was
see.
like, what are you doing?
I see.
But it felt very adult contemporary at the time.
She was a very popular artist.
She was
in the world.
She was. But I was like, give them Troy right now. Scare them. Come on. But I still enjoyed it. But I was grappling, and her hair was growing out a little bit. It was strange. I had pictures. I'll show
More
you.
than just fuzziness, like long hair.
Not long, but yeah.
Ish.
She said apparently, like, she did grow her hair out a few times, but everyone just said, are you Enya? Because she looks a lot like Enya.
Oh, no.
When her hair is grown. They're both very beautiful. But yeah, so she was like, she always felt more comfortable with it being shaved anyway.
Yeah.
And yeah. Anyway.
Easier to take care of, really.
It is. It's pretty practical.
Yeah.
So that's Sinead O'Connor.
Sinead.
In a nutshell. There's a lot more work that she has, but I didn't want to cover every single thing because it's just too much. Yeah, already. I really was only going to do Line in the Cobra.
Huh.
But I realized that would be pretty short if I just did that.
It's still really good.
Thank you.
I definitely have fond memories of listening to it when we were in Ireland. And it's fun that you make connections to things like that. And it does help. For someone like me, you can forget things, and like when I heard those songs, it definitely took me back to that moment. And then obviously when you hear other songs that were popular on the radio, it takes you back to that moment. So it's almost like for me to remember those kinds of things, I have to have like some moment in time or, thing that's in my head. But yeah, I mean, she is a singular person for sure.
Yeah, and I'm coming out with an autobiography that's coming out this year, and I'm very excited to read
nice.
it. From herself, not from somebody else. So.
Right. And so she's pretty much...
She's still making
music. She's still doing things?
Yeah. She changed her name. I can't remember what it is now. I'm sorry. I'll put it on the thing so people can look up her now name. because she's converted to Islam, so she has a
Ah,
different
that's
name.
right. Interesting.
But yeah, she still plays music and sings. And she did a really amazing live performance on like some British, or was it British or Irish TV show? I think I showed it to you of her performing live. And it was like last year or something. And she like blew it away. It was really gorgeous.
So she still got it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely still got it. And I wish her well.
Yes. So is that it?
I think that's it.
All right. Sinead O'Connor.
Just 2 hours checking in.
It's not 2 hours. By no means.
But also, like I said, there's a mix. Please listen to the mix.
That's right.
And enjoy.
And as always, you know, if you like what you hear, go out and get it at your local record shop.
Go buy
There's
some records.
probably plenty of this in the used section, or maybe
And
even
new.
reissues and things like that. Yeah. I mean, you know, you
have a
could
whole
find a
stack
new
over here.
copy of some of these things, but so we hope you like it. Thanks for listening, everyone. What are we going out on here?
We're going to go out on Just Call Me Joe at the end of it.
All right.
Ready?
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
All right, ciao.
Instead I get teeth.